Welcome, everybody. My name is Vincent. I'm from Life Coach Rapid Results. Today, I've got a really good video for you today. I'm really excited about this because it's a video which is going to show you how to have great intimate relationships. Now, I had to learn this stuff because I wasn't good at this stuff myself. It's something I had to learn. It was an art and it was a skill to it, which I didn't know. I just thought you met someone, you moved in with someone, and everything was happy days.
Yeah, interesting what you said at the events. So, just prior to you learning this stuff, that's great news. So, to know that somebody can learn this. Yeah. What was your for a moment? Just keep it briefly. Yeah. What was your relationships like prior?
My relationships was not. They just faded out. They just wasn't. I didn't have the skill set in order to keep that relationship alive and fun and exciting. So I'd get with someone, I'd want to move in with them, I'd want everything with them, and all of a sudden the shine had gone and we'd be bored of each other.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, is this it?
Negative emotion as well that went along with that story, yeah?
Yeah, well, so it can be too much positive emotion turns to negative emotion.
Right, so what's relationships like now, Vince?
Relationships now are great.
Fantastic.
They're great. I've really studied, I've learned these skills, they've been over about 10 years now.
Wow.
It's about 10 years now I've been studying.
And all your relationships, you're happy?
All my relationships in all my life, in every area.
Come on, I'm excited to hear this.
Not just intimate relationships, but in every area of my life, I have good relationships, good, healthy, productive relationships. And that's the key to a happy life, because why are relationships so important? Relationships are where we get the most juice from life, but it's also where we get the most pain from. It can cause us the most pain. It can be the best thing ever or the worst thing ever. So it's very, very important that we learn these skills to
tell us all about
have good relationships.
Tell us. We're all excited now, Vince. Right, come on. How are we going to do it? Come on.
Right. And I start off with the understanding relationship. What skills do we need to have a good relationship? So with any relationships, communication, right? And it's not just about any old communication. It's about being able to communicate what's going on here and in here. And that's a skill in itself. That's something that most men have to learn. Women are a lot better at it, but men definitely need to learn. Like from my own experience and the people I work with, is something a lot of men has had to learn. So it's being able to constructively talk about how you're feeling inside in a constructive way, because it's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. So you could say, I'm not feeling good about this, or I don't like that, you mustn't do that. But if I can change the way I say, oh man, I'm not feeling good about this, can we have a look at it this way, or can we look at this that way? Or what you're doing is making me feel a bit uncomfortable. Could you maybe be thoughtful of that? And it's just having that communication open like that, instead of letting things build up and then snapping. And this is so important that we learn how to communicate how we think, how we're feeling, and how we're thinking. Because if we don't learn these skills, how to communicate, what happens is suppress, and then they come out in unhealthy behaviors.
Explosion, yeah.
Yeah, not so much always an explosion. It can lead up to explosion more often than not, but it comes out in other unhealthy behaviors.
Yeah, okay.
Like you won't be nice in a certain way, you'll hold back, you won't do certain things.
Yeah.
And that slowly then affects the relationship, as a knock-on effect for the whole relationship. So you're thinking, well, this guy's changing now, but what it is, the reason why he's changing is because of all his suppressed stuff, which you haven't had the skill to communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a very, very powerful life skill what a lot of people need, and it can even cause, in a lot of cases, depression, isn't it? If you haven't got the skills to communicate what's going on in here and what's going on in your head, push down. That's the word what depression means, and then you get depressed. So it's a very important skill that we have to learn.
Yeah.
And a relationship, a lot of people, they get in a relationship, they're in so much fear of losing the relationship, they want to try to control every angle. And this trying to control every angle, what people don't realize is a healthy relationship is like holding water in your hand. The tighter you hold it, the more you lose it. So it's key to remember that. It's key not to be too open and not worry about anything and to be agreeable. We're not saying that. But what I'm saying is there's constructive ways of being in a relationship and saying, you know, that if you're going out with a short skirt on, or you're doing this, you know, can you just be mindful how that's making me feel? Or it might show me that I have some signs I need to work on my insecurities in a certain area of my life. But being outright controlling and trying to control someone, that's not healthy at all. And that's the stages where you start to lose that relationship. That relationship starts to deteriorate, and the tighter you hold it, the more it deteriorates, the more you start to lose it. So it's important to remember this, you know. And the negative emotions you feel when, say, your girlfriend or wife is going out, she's dressed up nice. The negative emotions are perfect, because that shows to yourself that you really care about her and you love her, and her going out looking really nice and other men looking at her is making you feel negative, and that's perfect. You know, these negative emotions in a relationship are perfect.
Yeah, I guess if you didn't feel anything, you don't really care about her. Yeah, that's what you're saying. Yeah.
If you didn't have that negative emotion, then you wouldn't really care about her. You know, we all want to see that our partner be happy and have a good life and be happy they're going out with their friends. But but we still get that negative emotion when they're going out all dressed up with their friends, because it's just human nature.
Yeah, we all want a beautiful woman, but we don't want nobody else to look at her.
Yeah. So it's very important to remember this, you know. So we got the communication, that's the key. We got the not holding the relationship too tight, and we need a very healthy balance of uncertainty and negative emotion. You know, if I become certain of something, it loses its shine, it loses its value. You know, it's like, I'm not interested. It's too predictable. I know what they're going to say. I know I'm going to get the same text, same time every morning. I know what they're going to want for lunch. I know everything they're going to say. You know, so when we're sat in a room, we're both looking at our phones like that, because there's no interest in each other. We know everything about each other.
Yeah.
So this uncertainty, this unpredictability, we need to learn. And we're not doing it to people we're not doing it to them, we're doing it for them, for the benefit of the relationship. So be unpredictable. Don't be so predictable. Be uncertain about certain things. There's got to be a level of uncertainty in a relationship, but be uncertain about, don't keep doing the same stuff. Keep mixing it up. Don't always be too predictable with the times you're texting, with the things you do, in the places you go in, the people you go and see. Make sure you keep mixing it up. Make sure you keep that uncertainty, that unpredictability within the relationship, because that's what keeps the relationship alive. You know, it's very important to remember that. It's what keeps the relationship alive. So the other part is that emotional pain, which I keep going back to, is the emotional pain. You have to have a healthy balance of negative emotion and positive emotion to keep the relationship alive. You know, people have a healthy argument. It's healthy to have arguments. You don't want to agree on everything and be agreeable people. You know, you've got to have a little bicker, a little argument. But, you know, say you've been with this person for a while, you know, sex is not that great, or well, it's fading, it's starting to lose its shine. Then all of a sudden you have a little healthy argument. Yeah. After healthy argument, you have great sex. Great sex. It's great make-up sex. But that wouldn't have happened if you didn't have the healthy argument. So now you can start to see that it's the negative emotions that complement the positive emotions. You have to keep continuously having a certain amount of negative emotions within a relationship, the uncertainty and all stuff like that, and the unpredictability, in order to appreciate the positive emotion. Because if you have too much positive emotion, too much predictability, the positive emotion turns to negative emotion. So you're going to lose a relationship anyway. Yeah, it's not about being the most nicest, agreeable person and trying to do everything for everyone. That doesn't work. Nice guys don't last. Like, you know, it's about being nice, but about having the skill set in order to keep that freshness within that relationship. And that's key. You know, that's massive in a relationship. So the uncertainty, is there anything else?
No, it was great. I mean, it's so interesting, Vince. I mean, this predictability kind of thing, I understand it's just not attractive, you know. But I was interested how you said it then as well. You know, some people might say, oh well, you know, this could be playing games kind of thing, you know. But yes, even if it's playing games, what you're saying is that you're playing games for the relationship, not to the relationship. It's like, you know, maybe, you know, if we phone in the girlfriend kind of thing and she answers the phone every single time kind of thing, you know, within 2 rings, and in the end, we don't bother phoning her. But the moment what I'm getting from you is she doesn't answer her phone, maybe, and maybe she doesn't call you back for an hour or two. It's like, where's she to that? Huh?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, she's something that I want. She becomes attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And vice versa. Like, that's what I'm getting off you. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. So it's in the beginning of a relationship, you've got these breaks. When you see each other, it's marvelous, it's great. But when you move in together, it can all lose its shine because you haven't got that skill set to keep the relationship alive.
Yeah.
You know, so at the beginning, when you look at the beginning, what was keeping that relationship alive and fresh every time you've seen each other and you had so much to talk about was the breaks. Yeah. So it's important to remember that there has to be a certain balance. So when in the beginning of a relationship, it's good to have the breaks because it keeps it alive and fresh. But when you move in together, that's a different skill set again you've got to learn. That's an art, and it's a continuously thing you need to work on in order to keep that going. So when you're living together, you need to start learning, right, you go to work, I go to work, we got our break there. I got my own hobbies, we go and see friends, and we make sure we keep having these breaks, because soon as you move in together and you didn't have these skills, you didn't have this understanding, then you have too much positive emotion, you have sex all the time, you're with each other, you're finding everything about each other, you know everything about each other, the relationship fades and it's gone anyway.
Yeah. So you've got to remember, that order that creates chaos. Yeah. Too much order creates chaos.
Yeah. So you've got to remember that it's an art, it's something that needs to be learned and a skill. Same as, you know, especially when you're moving in with each other, talking and communicating how you're feeling, how you're thinking is absolute key. It's absolute key because it can lead on to all different destructive behaviors. You know, a lot of people that come to me, they're like, oh, you know, I don't know how to have a good relationship, or I haven't had a good relationship. And it's like, well, it's your personality, your own personal reality. This is what we need to look at. This is what we need to change. What do we need to look at? What do we need to change? You know, maybe it's insecurities, maybe it's the lack of understanding what makes a good relationship great and what keeps our relationship alive, and that understanding of the skill set you need in order to have a great relationship. You know, you might need to work on certain things in order for you to have a better personality, because it's not about having great relationships. When I change my personality, have a great personality, I'll automatically have great relationships. And that's it. You know, I always thought, I haven't worked because of this, I haven't worked because of that. But really, it's my personality that needs to change. This is something I need to work on. And it's hard, especially for a guy, for anyone to come up and say, you know, I need some help with this, you know, because I'm not having great relationships. You know, I got all these different problems with all different people or whatever, or I haven't had good relationships with women or whatever. Then it's something I need to look within yourself to see why. You know, and taking responsibility for that and being able to ask for help is really hard. You know, it's not easy, but it's the best thing, personally, from my own experience, it's the best thing I've ever done. I got great relationships and my life is full of joy today. You know, I know how the opposite sex thinks. I've learned this psychology. I've learned what makes this stuff important and what keeps stuff alive. And that is absolute key. It's been my greatest gift I've ever been given. You know, it didn't come easy. You know, I had to experience a lot of pain in order for me to get to a place where I want to learn this stuff and become a master at relationships, because it is so important, so important. So I hope you got something from this video today, and I hope that, you know, this can give you a little glimpse of what is most important to have a really, really great intimate relationships. Really great intimate relationships, and even other relationships. These tools are the skill you need for other relationships. You know, so thank you for joining me today. Please share and subscribe to my channel. You know, just hit the subscribe button. You get new videos that come through. Please share, help some other people. You know, I'm all about giving every video I do. It's all about transforming people and giving them tools to do something or do better. So please, thank you for joining me today. You please share and subscribe. Take care. My name is Vincent. I'm from Life Coach Rapid Results. Thank you.
Just before you shoot off, Vince, if anybody's listening and they'd like to ask any questions, can they send you an email?
If anybody's listening and want to ask me any questions, you can just put it in the chat box. You know, my email address will be in the description, but you can just leave a comment. If there's anything you'd like me to cover in any of my videos, just leave a comment and I'll do a video on it. So you all take care. Thank you today, Paul.
Awesome. Thank you, Vincent.